ke mohlakwana mapola disema ke maila ngwathela ke ngwana sa jense ngwathana sa mabane empa ke ja poloka kaofela ha merititi ya dile mo ke mohlakwana wa mosito ke mohlakwana wa tele ya motawana. Those things when you look at yourself you're like nah. Like they scare you because it looks so big and it looks like it's not going to be possible. But today I want to tell you, to remind you, onale what we call an inner strength. And I want you to embrace that. Yes, yes? Yes. I want us to embrace that. That onale inner strength. And I want us to talk. I want to start my talking or this communication with you from that point. Let me digress a bit. Normally, if we would think of let's think of this as a tree. Ne? Most of the time and we're thinking, enjoy. But sefatese, before eba sefate, we sing this part. People see you like this. But what we fail to understand is that sefate, sinali mid. Sefate sinali the roots. This part of the root, ke part erunar saiboni. I'm here to say to yourself, work on yourself. In the dark, where no one sees you. It doesn't matter what life has hit you with. It doesn't matter, the more you work on yourself. That is why the title of my YouTube channel is Becoming. Because I realize that the more I become, the more I be, the more I work on myself as an individual. I realize, me being forces me to doing. And the more I'm doing, then ultimately I end up having. You are not just this. Or you cannot just this part of a person. Just realize there are roots. There's where it is coming from. Work on yourself. Build on yourself as a person. I mean, Mary, for Mudimu to choose Mary, to say, Mary, you're going to bear this child. Mary should have done certain things. Unanale a certain character. Surely unanale something. Say other women didn't have. That is why God, in his greatness, had to go to Mary. I want you to embrace those dreams. I want you to know, you first be, and then you being, it will force you to do. While you are doing it, it will ultimately, make you to have, to possess those businesses, that money. People will ask me, why are you writing yourself? What do you call that? I call myself Lady Billionaire, and people will be like, why are you calling yourself Lady Billionaire? It's because ultimately I know I will have, because I have started to being. And believe you me, when you start to be, it's not going to be easy. You will have other friends that will, turn their backs on you. You will have, but behind the back, but focus on being. Focus on working on yourself. Because just like Mary, we are what God says we are. Mary didn't understand. Mary didn't know, or why would God choose her. But surely there's this eye that God looks at her, Kayona, because he is. So, you first be. When you are now being, it will force you to do. And ultimately, after you are doing, you are ultimately going to have. Yes, yes?
Yes, yes.
Musadi. Bua. Musadi. Bua. So they understand. Ultimately, the prophet Orukomeri, a sword shall pierce you. This thing na even in Kagene. A sword out of all the greatness that was talked about, a sword will pierce you. We are not immune to we are not immune to hate. We are not immune to all these things that could have that could happen to us. But I need you to understand that you as a being, only what we call the 5 facets of life. How shebile Mpho? Mpho wetsa ke components say 5. You guys, you are part of my social life, which is my social aspect of life, right? And then I have a physical part of life, which is how I look as a person. And then another one is my emotional aspect of life. Those that are living closely to me, they know, or hey, this one can be so emotional, this one can cry, this one can be, that is the how you taking things, how you perceiving them, how you know, the way in your emotions. And then your intellect, how you comprehend anything, like it has something to do with your intellect. You know, normally when I talk to learners, I tell them the way they would comprehend reading, the way you would sit there and imagine things, that is part of your intellectual aspect. And here comes a greater part of you. We call that your spiritual aspect of life. Never ever neglect your spiritual aspect of life. Because this part, as for me, I withdraw everything that I have from my spiritual aspect of life. Let's say, for example, socially. Hey, bansebile, baitsa whatever, eba yetsang, or ba mbua hampe, or ba yabana ne. And then ultimately I get a scripture. It all works together for good for those who trust in the Lord. Immediately I read that, it makes me calm. It makes me, leave everything unto the palm of the hand of God. It helps me to know Mpho. Why okaba immune? Just over physically, I might be feeling like, you know what? I get happy, man. Or why can't I get 2 shots? Or why you know how we criticize ourselves physically? You look, I'm get too dark, man. Oh, I'm you know, those things that you do to yourself physically, do not try and change anything about yourself. You are the image of God. When I went into my spiritual aspect of life to draw for my physical aspect, it told me that I have fearfully and wonderfully made you. This means that Bona, God took time. Guys, yes, he went in for Adamo, Uncle Topa, Abeya Mola R. But when it comes to me as a woman, ladies, you are a better version of yours, of any, human. Because a man had to be put to sleep. What happened? Mudimu amusheba, anka the bone that is on the rib cage, hanka the bone on his head, because maybe hanka the bone ailing on his feet, because maybe because we are taken from their feet. So from today, I want you, when the going gets tough, you look at yourself and you be like, I am one of a kind. I'm a 1 in a million. I am who God says I am. My physical part cannot be changed. And we start accepting it. Because we do so much. Trying to trim and change. I'm not saying let's not be healthy. I'm not saying let's not exercise. But I'm saying let's just love ourselves as we are. For we understand who we are. Somebody had to be put to rest for you to be taken out. And you were not just taken out in jail. Direction. You are there just to give direction to life. You are there, not even in a home when hosna male children, but it's only female children, and they operate and they work exactly in their calling and in the alignment that God has called them to be. That home becomes a bomb. You find that they are able to do everything as if there's a male child. Can't it? No, it's only ladies. We have been given the capacity. When you look at yourself, just know that onale capacity, and start embracing the word much more. The word gives comfort. The word heals. The word gives wisdom. The word builds. And I don't want to wait for hell. I know how often we are tempted to kind of like live our lives rickets or whatever, but I'm encouraging you. I'm not saying if I'm fundis, but if you have a calling, please step into one. We need you. The field is big. Ne? All I'm saying is Lindsay rebuild. Lindsay. So by understanding the 5 facets of life, by understanding the 5 facets of life, Ona Leona, you wouldn't ukhale this part Yamot. You will understand that I have a duty, I have a responsibility to make myself shine. I have a duty, I have a responsibility to working on myself as an individual. The book of Luke tells me Holy Mary was just a girl. This girl, on a certain needs, I was so innocent. The dreams that you have, the journey of life that you are going through. Journey of life, often arena guide. Arena guide. Or papa, you are this old. You ended up only 18 age. How so, papa? So young adult. Haibo, so na bantuan. Haibo, so we are kitchen. Outside arena guide. We but I want to encourage you that do not leave it out. Do not leave your spiritual aspect of life out. You go understand how you are blessed as a woman. And no one is going to tell you that you are blessed. You have to tell it to yourself. Look at yourself. Look at everything that you have. Don't compare. We are like this. I don't compare. Don't compare. This is who you are. For you to have whatever that you are seeing in others, instill at the roots. Work on yourself. You are a blessed woman. You are meant to carry the nation. God has made us, like I said, you become a better version. You became a better version of males. That's who we are. We have a womb because God is trusting us to bring forth something into this earthly realm. Yes, yes? Yes. Okay, you might be having dreams, you might be having goals, and you might be having, your plans. But the journey that you're going to travel, no one is explaining it to you. Some of you have seen that as we are moving, I had like a big board where I've put everything that I believe God for. It is all up to you to cultivate that. Mary was never told. She was just told, hey, you're going to bring up a Messiah. And when she was told that you're going to bring up a Messiah, that is good news. Okay, I'm going to be a carrier of, you prepare yourself, something big. Give the dreams on and listen. And then as you are slowly trying to achieve them, you find that you are falling. That's the sword that the prophet is talking about. Simeon will like a sword. Alright, Mary, when there'll be a sword, that's going to pierce your soul. I know how much we are all hurt. I know it might not be now, but we will all have experience of some sort. Where we were hurt, where we were all cheated on, where we were all ill-treated by the in-laws, by the society, by whatever, man. We will all have a story to tell, ne? And has it only pierced or anybody unhealthy competition? If you go back to my YouTube, there's a video again saying identity crisis, where I said sometimes when you are so hurt and you are not working on yourself as an individual, you find that as we are like this and then I serve her first, you'll be like, why is it because best friend you bringing yourself down. That shows work on yourself as a lady. Work on yourself. We have been embarrassed, guys. At some point, so many things has happened to us. Hey, we were working together, and we know how we were often so embarrassed at work. So it is all our duty to knowing. I'm here to tell you that those dreams, those goals, pursue them. You want to look like this. If you are looking at another woman and you're like, but how is she doing it? You are solely entitled. But that doesn't mean you are immune to hurt. You'll be immune to anything. But focus more the ultimate results that you ought to get.